slips and vote for 2. Timer, did all qualify?
Yes, they did.
Then vote for 2. Next, I'll be bringing up our Master Evaluator. Chris Miles, a longtime Toastmaster, and I'm apparently blind up here and I can't read. I'll let Chris Miles introduce himself because I can't see it.
That's theme park architect.
And theme park architect, Chris Miles.
Okay, thank you. Right. So, evaluation, probably the most important part of today's speeches. And you've heard some very talented speakers this morning, but now comes basically a series of questions. How well did they do against expected aims? Did they follow their intended themes? Did they confuse you or stimulate you? And the Golden Cup is waiting for the best performance. So, the best for Nagel. So assessing and describing and interpreting an individual's communication ability requires the integration of a variety of information in the evaluation process. Fortunately, we've got some very experienced and gifted evaluators to do just that. So please give me a big welcome to evaluator number 1, Toastmaster Ardian Peach.
If you thought Toastmaster meetings on Zoom was bad, I want you to imagine a Toastmasters meeting on Zoom, but you don't even know if anybody's real. That is a reality that is coming to your future. Toastmasters and friends, this was a speech about impact. And right from the get-go, Carson showed us immediate impact with one of the most unique intros I have ever seen in a Toastmaster speech. Taking our Toastmaster, someone we all know and love, and impersonating him. His voice was only about 80% perfect. But it's only been a year. And imagine in another year, in a decade from now, how good will that Will clone be? We may not even know if that's the real Will. You never know.
Am I the real Will now?
Ooh. That intro showed impact. And this is a speech about impact. Carson wanted to show everybody how far AI has come in just 1 year and where it can go into the future. He owns a company called Translating Tech, and he was able to translate that direct impact into something we can all understand. What's great is that the examples themselves weren't too long. All those videos, no longer than 30 seconds. They were quick and they showed the point. There was no PowerPoint word vomit that a lot of IT guys tend to do. It just showed us what we need to know, what we, as people who may not know much about AI, need to understand going into the future. Don't believe everything that you see. And he gave us practical advice. What do we need to know going into the future? How can we protect ourselves from something that could possibly influence elections? Keep an identity word. Look at those hands. Do those fingers bend around? Make sure you look as close as you can. And don't believe everything that you see. Great advice going to the future. As for improving the speech, I would suggest, if possible, maybe propping up the TV on the table or bringing in your own table like Sean did so everybody can see it from the back. This position right here may have isolated some people all the way in the bottom right, but if you were to prop it up in the middle right here with a table, that would have been even better. All in all, don't believe everything that you see. Master Evaluator.
So speaker number 2 is going to be evaluated by none other than Eugenio Rotari. I hope I pronounced his name properly. And he is going to do an excellent job, as he does each week.
What a wonderful speech. And today, Sean finagled his way and demonstrated how a simple idea can be delivered so even a 5 or 3-year-old would understand what it is. He tapped into our primordial senses. Everyone knows what candies are, and the food, there is probably nothing better than presenting it in front of the audience and everyone could just sense it and feel it. One thing that Sean didn't do, he didn't trip at the beginning of his speech, but angled directly to the end table. The movement were well performed. Variety is the spice of life. Great speech. Eye contact, vocal variety is something I would need to learn. One suggestion for your next speech, bring a professional videography group so they can film it and maybe make a movie. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Toastmaster retiring. And lurking in the wings is none other than Evaluator number 3, Tim Taylor. So please welcome Toastmaster Tim Taylor.
How do you evaluate someone that you respect so much? I'll tell you one day when I actually review that person. No, I love Carson. He is the one person that I look to. And I even love Carmelo, yes. No, Carmelo is fantastic. I will tell you, you can tell a professional Toastmaster, someone who's been here a while and does everything right. What did he do at the very beginning? He started over here, he faced the audience while he was being introduced, and he smiled. He looked at the audience and he smiled. How many people have done that? Most of us are standing there, scared to death. He's looking at the audience, relaxed and smiling, and that was excellent. It was hard to compete today, I know, with the M&Ms on the floor and the video, but you did an excellent job. He's always poised, and he's always uses great pauses. When he starts, when he walks up here, he waits about 10 seconds, he looks at the audience, gets everybody to settle, and then he starts. Did you notice you couldn't hear a pin drop in here when he spoke today? I was very excited about that. You also challenged the audience. You had everybody in the palm of your hand. You said, who really cares if you mess up? I love that. Who really cares? You finagled some nice humor in there, and he also related to the rest of us about social media. Those of us that are a little bit older, social media, it doesn't scare me to death, it actually bores me to death. Who would want to see me talk all the time? These young people today, they're on social media so much, they really believe that everybody wants to hear everything they have to say. And I personally don't believe that at all. The challenges, I would say, before you come up, you might want to attach the camera to the selfie stick first. That was a little distracting as you were trying to do that. You did bounce around a little bit on your stories. It would be better to maybe stick with 1 or 2 subjects instead of 3. And the ending was a little bit abrupt. I think you could have thrown a joke in there at the end or something to that effect. But overall, it was excellent, and I respect you so much, Carmelo, not Carson, and you did an excellent job. Thank you very much. All right.
And last but not least, lurking in the wings again, Benjamin Arrutia. Toastmaster Benjamin Arrutia. Number 4. Thank you.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I have the pleasure to evaluate this morning Tim Linger, who was a substitute for somebody else. Tim Linger is an accomplished speaker. And I also say, how do you evaluate a person who has so much good at public speaking? Borrowing from somebody's line. Okay. Tim is an experienced professional in real estate, especially in the way of financing. So we have to attach credibility to the advice that he provides. Very good. He gave us very many examples of how to deal with wealth, especially in the way of acquiring real estate. I go for real estate. I'm a realtor. Okay, now, so he says that the key to having a nice retirement is to watch for cash flow. And he gave us several examples of how to do it. Yes? Okay, well, that we have to watch for the time that we believe we're going to retire and plan for that moment to have enough cash to survive. He has spelled out also different ways to do it. Some of them are so good, but I think that I would add that if you provide some good numerical examples briefly, then we could absorb that benefit of having this type of mortgages that you talk about. Also, you didn't talk about the drawbacks of the HECM mortgage, because I know by experience that there are some drawbacks. So all in all is good, so that when we walk away this morning, we have the knowledge of having received the experience of someone that tells us that we have to build a good cash flow to have to the paradise at retirement. Good speech.
And it's time to evaluate the evaluators. So, will they